Recently, there was an attempted abduction of a young woman walking home from campus less than 50 yards away from my home. She'd been walking home late at night when suddenly a van pulled up beside her. The people inside tried to drag her in. Thankfully, she was able to get away unharmed. This is close not only to my home, but hits close to home for all of us here. Almost all of us know someone who frequently walks or exercises alone at night. Many of us here do so ourselves. And no one should have to experience what that young woman experienced, or worse. The dangers of walking or exercising alone at night are real, but we can take ourselves out of at-risk situations and practice night safety. I'm going to review some attitudes that lull us into a false sense of security and also suggest some practices that can help us practice night safety. Recently, the Institutional Research and Evaluation Incorporated rated BYU as the #1 safest university in the United States for its size. That is a miracle. That is a testament to the goodness of the people who come here. It's a miracle that we are that safe. But we need to be careful that we don't make the same assumption about the surrounding area. According to the 2006 crime report published by the Utah Department of Public Safety, Provo is a hotspot for certain crimes. When crime rates in Provo are compared to those of the 8 closest cities, it is found that Provo had 40% more acts of sex offenses, 200% more assaults, 500% more kidnappings, and 200% more robberies. Now, Provo is no New York or San Francisco, but it is something to be concerned about when it is a major hotspot for crime when compared to the average of the surrounding cities. Rape incidents are particularly alarming. Provo City has said Provo has higher incidents of rape than the national average. What makes this even sadder is that what makes this so sad is that it is reported that a woman reports being raped once every 9 days. What makes this even scarier is that it is estimated that 90% of rapes go unreported, which means that here in Provo, a woman is raped every day. That breaks my heart to think of that. But I know that there are things that we can do to keep ourselves and encourage others to be safe. Recently, I interviewed BYU Police Lieutenant Lamont and asked him about night safety tips. He said that the #1 thing that we can do to keep ourselves safe at night is to use common sense. Came as a little surprise, but the things that he talked to me about really were common sense. We've all heard it before that we shouldn't walk alone or exercise alone at night, that we should do so in groups, or that we should call for a friend to give us a ride. We know that we should stay in well-lit areas away from places that we know will be dark and unsafe, such as South Hill or up the canyon. BYU Newsnet quoted Lieutenant Greg Barber as saying, "Every time you are in a dimly lit place, you are at some risk for any criminal activity." Again, it's common sense. It's not surprising to hear that Lieutenant Lamont suggested that we be alert and aware of our surroundings. That way, we're less vulnerable of a target. One common myth is that we're safer if we're talking on a cell phone. I'm not alone. I'm talking with someone else. But the problem is it takes your attention away from being fully attentive to your surroundings, and thus more likely to be a victim of crime. Lieutenant Lamont cautioned against being overly dependent on any one thing for our safety at night, such as having a weapon or knowing martial arts. With all this said, I want to caution against paranoia. It'll be a very sad day if we are fear for our lives simply because we are paranoid. I'm not suggesting that, but what I am suggesting is that we use common sense. Again, all of us here know someone who frequently walks home or exercises alone at night. Many of us here do so. We can encourage others to practice principles of night safety. And I know that even though the dangers are real, by using common sense, we can keep ourselves and others safe. Thank you.